welcome to the Perception Podcast. Today we're going to be talking about present or future. Most of us, we have the misconception that whatever we do in the present is what shapes the future. That is wrong. I repeat, most of us, we believe that whatever we do in the present shapes our future. That is wrong. Rather, is what is in the future that shapes the present. Is what you want to be that you start doing now. I repeat, is what you want to become, you start doing now. Whatever you do now shapes what you'll be in the future. So the future is what shapes what you're doing now. So you can, in accordance, align with what you want to become. I repeat, it is wrong for you to feel that whatever you're doing presently is what shapes your future, is what you have as an end in mind that shapes what you do now. And the every little step you take now is what shapes what you become at the end. We always have an antithesis of what we think the present will be and the future will be. Rather, it's what you have in your mind that shapes what you do now. All the actions you're taking now will shape what you want to see in the future. So it's the future that shapes the present, not the present that shapes the future. Most of us, we think what we're doing now is what will shape your future. Is what you want to become, is what you've envisaged in your mind that shapes your future, is what you've decided that this is what I want to become. This is what I'll do. That begins to create the reality of what you need to start doing physically, mentally, socially, spiritually, intellectually, academically, to become what you really want to become. And one key concept is you must have clarity. The moment you have clarity in your mind, you must have clarity in your mind. The moment you have clarity in your mind, you can start envisaging what you want to become. And that clarity is an end in mind of what you want to see. So the future shapes the present, and not the present shapes the future. When you envisage what you want to become, you begin to take little steps and actions. A great man once said, he said, whatever you can hold in your mind that has become very clear becomes a reality by taking action and becomes verbal. This is the reality of what the future is and how it shapes the present. Most of us, we have this concept that the present shapes the future. Your present don't shape your future. It's what you want to become that shapes your present. It's what you're doing now that determines the future. And the future has already been made up in your mind. And that mind is what creates and shapes the decision, the action you take, the little steps you want to take to create that vision. We must have it at the back of our mind that the future shapes the present and not the present shapes the future. It is wrong for you to feel and think the present shapes the future. It's an end in mind that creates the action of the now. It's the here and now that will create the future which you've envisaged, as an end in mind of what the future is that shapes what the present is. The present now, which is the here and now, has already been concluded in the future. Now, for it to become a reality, you need to start taking those incremental steps now. That's how the future shapes the present, and not the present shapes the future. I've been talking about how the future shapes the present by having an end in mind and a clarity. The moment you have clarity, you are able to hold that vision that creates the future of what you want to see. But that doesn't mean the present shapes the future. The future is an end in mind. I repeat, the future is an end in mind. I repeat, the future is an end in mind. And when you've concluded what you want to do, the action you begin to take, the action and steps you begin to take is in the here and now of the present. But doesn't mean the present shapes the future. It's what you've concluded ahead as having an end in mind of what you want to do now to create the reality of what you want to see in the future. So I've been talking about how the future shapes the present and not how the present shapes the future. I hope you're getting what I'm saying. I'll repeat. Your future shapes your present and not your present shapes your future. It does always be an antithesis of what we expect, but it's the other way around is what I'm talking about, which I repeat. The future shapes the present and not the present shapes the future. This is the secret to clarity. This is the secret to success. This is the secret to vision. I hope you've learned one or two things, and I hope you're enjoying the podcast, or you've enjoyed the podcast. I'm out. Have a lovely day. I love you all.